think, when you think of when I think of the Rams because of Aaron Donald, I've always thought about the defense just because he's probably the best defender of certainly of this generation. But when I think of the best defenders I've ever seen, uh, everybody talks about Lawrence Taylor, but I think of Reggie White because I got to get that club and him flip me on my head a couple times. But I think of Reggie, I think of J.J. Watt, and I think of Aaron Donald. I mean, those are the three best guys I think I've ever seen. You talk about Warren Sapp and John Randall, and certainly that's fair. But these guys are exceptional. Aaron Donald is an exception. He might be the most unblockable guy that I think I've seen, just because from a leverage standpoint, I don't quite understand how to block him. When I look at the Packers offense versus this defense, like we talked about before, Goody said it's difficult to evaluate certain positions because of the way everybody else is playing. Like I think QB1, you have enough people that are underperforming. I don't know, don't call them out by name, but there's certainly, from route running to blocking, quarterback decisions, just catching the ball. There's just missed throws, catching the ball. There's just things that aren't happening. Being on the same page, pre-snap reads, being on the same page, pre-snap, like all the things that Aaron Rodgers was getting upset about last year. You kind of go, not necessarily with the same people, but you kind of go, yeah, he was, he might have been cranky, but there's a point to the madness, right? You can't operate at an elite level if you don't have that attention to detail. This team's still led by Aaron Donald. He's going to, I think Elgton Jenkins had, his kind of breakout game versus him a couple of years ago. He gloved him up and they started pushing each other. I think that's how he got on the map. So you kind of feel good about that matchup. But you look around the rest of the team, and whoever's got to face Aaron Donald is going to have problems. He's still an elite level player, 4.5 sacks this season, a number of pressures, just commanding double teams. Pass rush win rate is extremely high. The injuries in the secondary have caused the Rams to play a ton of soft zone. That's something they lament. They do not want to. They have given up yardage in the passing game just for playing as something they're not familiar with and they don't really like. The Cowboys put up 304 yards passing and 4 touchdowns on them last week, so they're certainly something they're going to try to address. I really like their young box players. I really like a number of these guys. You talk about their Brian Young. So 97, Michael Hoyt last year. He's lost like 20 pounds. He was like 305-pound defensive end that came out last year. He had to play in a 2-point every once in a while. He's lost some weight. He looked good this last week. I love Kobe Turner, their third-round pick from this season. Byron Young, another third-round pick from this season. Both guys are playing a lot. Ernest Jones is having a good year, third-round pick from 2021. These guys are good players. They're fast, but there are opportunities all over the board in the run and the pass game against this team. This is just a very, very average to below average football team when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. I think they're actually outperforming maybe what a lot of people thought they were, but that doesn't mean that they're not very, very beatable. Let's go some tape on these guys. Talk about it. Last week, they started out this game versus the Cowboys, and you're going to see the jump shot here by 97. They were absolutely, like the first 7 plays, they had like 3 or 4 sacks. And then, so now we're going to see Byron Young on the other side, number 0, right? He gets by the right tackle. This is all in the first series. I think this is the second series where Zach Martin gets beat by AD. And then they have a keep passing. This is play 5 or 6. They're just racking things up. And they're playing better up front. It's so funny what happens with, somebody said momentum's not a real thing. Oh, it is in the minds of athletes. It doesn't have to be real. It's what you believe. If I don't think I can beat somebody, I probably can't beat them. And with this game, the difference between the Rams making this a competitive game and not could be as easy as the left guard, 71 for the Dallas Cowboys, 73 for the Dallas Cowboys, held the heck out of Aaron Donald on the play after this play. And they completed a 3rd and long to CeeDee Lamb, and they were off and running. And, at that point, pick 6, then, touchdown, pick 6, 14-0, game's over, right? But these guys started off gangbusters, man. They played at a really high level early on. See here, they're going to run some games. And I just put this in there because if you look at the Packers running game, it is abysmal compared to what the standard is, I think, for the team. But honestly, Jordan Love's probably not our leading rusher, but as far as yards per carry, I think he's up there. I think some of the best runs this year have been on quarterback scrambles. Now, whether we like that, especially if you're going to bring 5 and not spy a guy, there's opportunities to run against the Rams in this defense, especially when they play that soft zone and those linebackers drop. One thing you can do with penetrating defenders, like Aaron Donald likes to get up, all these guys like to get upfield. You can run toss crack plays. You can run those pin and pulls. So you can work lateral on these guys, get your big lineman downfield, and then start going vertical. You should really look for a couple opportunities in this game to get outside and run the toss cracks, especially like a Zach Tom's side where you feel like athletically he's going to be able to do some damage out in space. Aaron Jones is back. Makes a lot of sense. Like I said before with Byron, I think this is Byron Young out here, number 0. He's playing fast. I watched him earlier in the season doing a scouting report for the Rams for another team, and he's playing a lot faster now. The game is not too fast for him. You can't run a lot of the stuff, the reverses that we throw in on like a 4th and 1 or a 3rd and 5. Tough to run to his side, tough to run to both sides. I think they're pretty good at hawking the ball down. One thing the Dallas Cowboys did is they went 3-by-1 a ton, and they just attacked the single receiver look. And unfortunately, Darian Kendrick, number 1, was the guy that they were going after more often than not here. You'll see it up top. So they've got a bunch look down at the bottom of the screen. They got everybody looking over there. As soon as that safety goes to the middle of the field, they've just got time to run a 15-yard out. And, this kid's – there's like 3 guys in the league that can just single coverage with no help, and this isn't one of them. But the Rams have put him in this position, and they put him in this position multiple times during the game. Now you look at this situation where they have a safety who's going to the middle of the field and reading the eyes, and as soon as he steps to the middle and just opens up that slant, like Dak just takes it. And this is what we're talking about. You got to be decisive sometimes in the game. And guys, there's 2 or 3 in here where they don't make the catch. I'm not interested. I'm just trying to figure out how do you beat somebody? How do you attack them? This is what they look at. You got your single receiver on the bottom here, 3 up top. Safety rotates. Go back to the top here. Sorry. Same kind of look here. They bring the safety, and so the near safety to the bottom of the screen has to gain ground towards the middle. As soon as they do that, they drop the defensive end, but they're running a deeper slant, open in the middle of the field, nice 20-yard pickup, essentially a one-on-one route. Ferguson for the Cowboys has done a really good job since they dealt Schultz or they didn't deal him, free agent leave to the Texans. My fantasy football tight end, if anybody's wondering. But you saw this play, and so they go to the trip side, and look, right now, as soon as that safety opens up, and these guys are even, right? This is almost like this is really like cover 4. You could call this a cover 2 man, but really this is cover 4 here. Even though the linebacker's running down the middle, you see just the way, or at least I don't know if I can't tell what it's down here. I shouldn't say that. But as soon as that linebacker or that tight end's even with the linebacker here, this ball's out. And so decisive throws win. And this is a great throw and catch, but you can't make this catch unless you can make the throw. And you got to give him a chance to be successful. That safety's taking himself out of the game with his hips. As soon as the quarterback sees it, he lays it out there. Ferguson makes a great play. Really bad celebration. Now they're running a screen game here, and everybody tags the screen the same way. The Green Bay Packers have done this for 30 years. You have some sort of shallow cross on the screen. Why? Because if the linebacker doesn't follow the shallow cross and the safety is indecisive like they are here, The play is just wide open. And this is the theme with the Rams secondary, is the indecisiveness, or maybe seeing too many things flash in front of them. So you get these easy plays for 10 yards at a pop. And these are the kind of plays, we talked about last week, the Green Bay Packers, every time they get a first down, it's like a breath of fresh air, right? So these are the kind of plays that you put in: switch releases, shallow crosses, tag with your screen game, opportunities to just get these easy routes. This is a great setup. Again, we're talking zone coverage and leverage. When you move the wide receiver in, now they have to, the corner and the safety have to figure out who they're going to cover. It's not as obvious to them, okay? What happens when things aren't as obvious? I'm not locked in. I play a little softer, okay? So they bring the wide receiver in. They show blocking by the tight end here on 51. He releases outside to the flat. Both guys go initially with the go route. So he runs right between the safety and the corner. The safety's trying to get down because he realizes the corner is staying with the receiver. And you pick up another 15 yards. These are just easy plays. You see, Ford has the tight end. But right now he has inside leverage on the receiver. Okay, so we can't just let him catch the ball right now. I don't know if this is a miscommunication by the two of them, but they're playing soft. And this was, again, the theme of the day when you talk to some other guys on the Rams side, is the soft zone coverage is killing this secondary. You got to be able to take advantage of it. You see here, go back, excuse me. So they got a 3-by-1 again. And now this time the safety, he's not trapping. He's reading eyes. And they do the underneath. They do a quick dig. And they throw to the single receiver who's got outside leverage from the DB. They run that deeper post route into the end zone. And this safety's in no man's land because he's cheating to the 3 receiver side. It just happened. It's all over tape, over and over and over again. You just got to make the throw. They motion back into a bunch. And again, what does the bunch do? It confuses the defense. And they're not pressing on the first guy. Everyone's getting a free release here. So they have to figure this all out. The inside guy becomes the arrow route out to the 40-yard line in the flat. And they're willing to give this up. And they haven't decided how to switch this off, or how they're going to zone this off. And because of that, it's just, there's a constant stream of action. And this is what good teams do. I'll go back real quick here. They look at this player and they go, we have a 2-by-2 look, and we're going to switch release this. And the only reason we're doing that, because that corner and that safety, that's a safety down the line of scrimmage, know that corner's got outside, safety's got first man inside. What happens is, and it's subtle, but as soon as that safety walks out, just takes those 2 steps to get in front of that tight end, the underneath route's open. Period. 2 steps is all it takes in the National Football League. He takes those 2 steps to mirror the first receiver inside. And he's beat. Now he's beat across the field. 10-yard gain. And that's what it takes. It's just being able to see that stuff. You see it on tape, right? You rep it a bunch of times at practice. You get the right looks from the scout team. You watch it on tape that night. You ingrain it into your brain. As soon as you see it, you trust it. You know it's going to happen. You make the play.